Hi guys, PJ here. Today we're working on a 2011 Porsche Cayman and we're going to be installing a next-based dash cam to the ignition so it goes on and off with the car key. To do this we're going to be using a genuine fitting kit. These are available for most makes, brands and universal ones. eBay, Amazon, that's your place to get these. Car shops of course. In the kit, let's have a look what you get. Basically you're looking at replacement power cable terminating in a mini USB, this particular one. An earth which connects to a chassis bolt and a power with a bullet connector on the end. These are fuse spurs. Now depending which size your vehicle use, most of the Porsches tend to use a smaller one. Don't know, not put the cover off yet, but basically it makes one socket in the fuse box double up to a double socket. So in other words, there's a slot there to put your fuse that you remove from your fuse box, and there's a 2 or 3 amp here to run your camera. Very easy, very plug and play. So if your car's on lease or something like that, very easy to revert it back when you've finished with it. You also get one of these. This is a ferrite filter. Pops open, it's on a little hinge, and basically we wrap that round the power cable at the end here, and it's to try and suppress DAB radio interference. Nothing at all to do with AM FM, so if you've got AM FM, not a problem. If you've got DAB, pop that on, it will help with your interference. First things first, we're going to prepare the power cable. The fuse box on a Porsche, by the way, is right there, passenger footwell, nice and easy. So we're going to mount the camera just to the left of the rear view mirror on the window screen and tuck the cable along the headline and just tuck it in. Be very careful with your headline because obviously it's a bit fragile, and all the way along to the screen pillar. Here's the end of the replacement power cable prepared. So we have our filter on. Like I say, it pops open on a hinge, and basically you put the cable across it, wrap it round underneath it, and then back out again, so it loops the loop like so. What I tend to do then is pop a cable tie periodically along the cable just to bulk it up so it suspends it above the headlining. What you don't want is to hit a pothole and the power cable drop down in front of your view while you're driving along. This is just to bulk it up, and if you've got a sharp edge on your cable tie, just wrap it in some black electrical tape just to pad it out. Your headlining's only made of like a fibre substance, you don't want to damage it in any way. Like I say, it does bend, just tuck it up and under, and work your way all the way along until you get to the screen pillar. Next up, we're on the roof trim, just at the side, so there's your window screen visor. But basically, put your fingers behind it and pull, and it'll click, and you can tuck your cable from here along, tuck it down behind, pop it out down near the rubber seal here, and go all the way down the edge of the screen pillar. Sorry about the focus there on my phone, it's absolutely chucking it down, so it's struggling to focus. But yeah, down the edge of the pillar until you get to the edge of the dashboard. A very handy thing to have when you're doing this is a plastic leverage tool, like so. You can buy these normally in little packs, again, eBay, Amazon, car shops, £2 or £3, and they just help you tuck the cable down out the way without using, you know, something blunt. You don't want to be using a screwdriver or something. You are definitely going to damage the trim if you do that. So get yourself the proper tool. It does help out and speed matters up. By this point, we've pulled the rubber seal off and run the cable down the edge. Okay, now we're going to get a plastic leverage tool in here, pop this cover completely off, as you can see, exposing a nice, I believe that's a 13mm bolt, might be a 12, pretty sure it's 13, and take the bolt out, and we're going to use that as an earthing point. And yes, it is a 13mm bolt. So fully withdraw it, make sure it doesn't drop anywhere. So there's my earthing solution. Basically we've put a ring terminal on it, stuck a washer behind it, and we can now screw this back into the hole we've removed it from, making a nice secure earthing point. You can now continue to run the red power cable down behind here and into your fuse box area, which just pops off, he says. There you go. So you can tuck it behind the carpet so it comes dangling out here, from here, across and down. Once at this position, feel free to pop your end cap back on. Just simply watch the lugs on the end there, they sort of slot in, line them up, and you'll feel it clunk click. There you go. Pop that back in. Rubber door seal, push that back in, of course, all the way down. Now your red cable, your power cable that you sort of shove down here, if you loosen this screw off, you will be able to basically pull the trim away from the fuse box, put your hand behind and tuck the cable so it comes out here. Nice and easy for you to get to. Right guys, what we're going to do now with the aid of a multimeter like I've got here, or one of those little test probe screwdrivers, in other words the ones where you touch a live circuit and it illuminates. With the ignition off, yeah, and using your owner's manual as reference, we're looking for an auxiliary circuit fuse. So nothing critical, nothing for airbags or ABS or engine management, anything like that. We're looking for something auxiliary, you know, such as heater blower motor, that type of thing, maybe cigarette lighter. So I've done a lot of these in the past. If we come down here to, say that's 7.5 amp fuse, just there, touching the power on the end of it, we can see the voltage is 0. If we flick the ignitions on, that'll register 12 point whatever volts and is an ignition switched live. So with that one tested, yeah, like I say, you can test it by popping your ignition on, you'll see it goes live, you'll see your voltage goes up. Can't do that one-handed, unfortunately, I'm having to hold the camera, so take my word for it, this one will go live with the ignition on. In fact, the ones next to it do as well, but we're going to go with that 7.5. Turn the ignition off, take the key out completely, and basically pull that fuse out. Okay, so we've popped our 7.5 amp fuse in the fuse spur. It's the larger one of the two, as you can see. Now, the reason I tell you to test your own fuses is because, you know, the fuse box could vary from whatever region of the world the car's sold in, whatever specs on it, whatever year it is, etc. So don't just go along and pull the fuse I've pulled. Make sure you actually test it and check your owner's handbook to make sure you've got an ignition switched accessory position. We can then go along and pop that into the socket just there, shove your access cabling back through before tightening the edge screw up. So you ideally want it to end up looking like that, nice and neat, nice and factory. Right guys, moment of truth, let's pop the ignition on and see if we're all working. Yes we are. Power light, charging light, and boot up. And that's it. That is how you fit a dash cam into one of these Porsches. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. Just be aware though, I'm inundated with questions every single day, so I always have a massive backlog. It's going to take me a few days to get back to you at best. So if you can answer your question by asking your retailer where you got your camera from, please do. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.